Hey everyone, recording from MASFAA, the Massachusetts Association for Student Financial Aid Administrators. I always get that wrong, it's a mouthful. But we are live from the MASFAA conference at the Margaritaville Resort in Hyannis, Massachusetts. And with me, I am a huge fan of her, Betsy Mayotte, the head of the Institute for Student Loan Advisors, which is a nonprofit that provides information and resources for student loan borrowers all about repayment plans, potential forgiveness plans, and all the things that are going on in the student loan world. As they said in the session that you were just presenting, you are a rock star, you are the rock star. So I appreciate you taking a moment with us here. So Betsy, my audience, however, is mostly pre-college families, right? People are planning to send their kids to college. For families who may have to borrow to pay for college, what's a top tip or two that you have for them?
Well, I'm glad I don't just have one because I have more than one. First of all, I see a lot of families get caught up with, we have to figure out a way to pay for X school because this is the dream school. And it doesn't matter how much debt we put ourselves into. 70% of students change majors and or schools before they finish. So if the amount that you think you might have to borrow isn't necessarily going to be affordable for your future financial plans, it's okay and probably the right decision to maybe go to a lower price school for the first year or two and transfer into the dream school later, especially if you consider such a high percentage of students actually change their minds.
That's right.
The second thing, and this is going to sound a little weird, but if you find that you have to borrow, say, $20,000 for the first year, $20,000 might not sound too bad. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to multiply that by 5, because it takes the average student 5 years to complete a 4-year degree, and tuition is going to increase during that time. So you multiply that by 5 and then figure out what that monthly payment's going to be. Are you really, and that's how you should think about the borrowing amount. So don't think about I have to borrow 20 grand this year. Think about if I borrow 20 grand this year, that means I'm likely going to have a monthly payment of maybe $1,500 a month every month for the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. That somehow clicks more. And that's how you should think about whether you're borrowing too much or not.
Okay, those are great tips. Absolutely. And you're right, kids change their mind all the time. It's hard for 18-year-olds to figure this out, right?
What they're going to do for the rest of to figure out what we're going to do for the rest of our lives.
Exactly. Now, the session that we just came from here at the conference, you shared a ton of information that pertained to people who already have loans. Of course, right now, change in administration coming up, a lot of lawsuits and regulatory changes, all of that stuff. But for those people who do already have federal student loans, can you distill down to 1 or 2 top tips that they should be aware of?
All right, let me preface this by saying that I have been working in the student loan industry since George Washington carved his first pair of dentures. And it has never been this chaotic as it is right now. And that's causing, and understandably, a lot of anxiety with borrowers. They don't know what to do. Should I change repayment plans? Should I stay where I am? What's going to be available to me in the future? The best advice I could give you, there's 2 pieces of advice I give people right now. The first is take a deep breath. It is all going to work out. It's going to take a minute, but everything is going to smooth out and there will again be a clear path and options available to people. The second piece of advice I have is read all the things. Guidance and availability of options is changing like this. So find your bookmark 2 websites, studentaid.gov and, shameless plug, freestudentloanadvice.org. And those are the 2 places where you're going to be able to get the most up-to-date information about what's going on.
Okay. And I appreciate that shameless plug because I was going to ask you the address of your website. But again, so the website for your organization, the Institute for Student Loan Advisors, which is TISLA, is freestudentloanadvice.org. Okay, awesome. Betsy, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Jack.